Hey, good evening, everybody. Peter Vexelman here, partner-driven real estate investing. Good evening, good evening. It is Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Glad you guys are here. We're going to get started here very, very shortly. We're going to let everybody bounce on here. With so different doing like these and through webinars and Zooms than before. Like before, if we would do like an event, we'd start, let's say at 7 and, you open the doors at 6. And by time 7 comes around, everybody kind of rolls in. With these, you can't really get everybody in ahead of time. So the rules of engagement, because of the world we live in, have changed somewhat. Hey, but I'm glad you guys are here. It's Tuesday night. Again, my name is Peter Vexelman. I am excited to have you guys here. We're going to get started here very, very shortly. Hey, if Julie was here, you know what she'd say, right? Let me know where you're dialing in or zooming in from. Let me know where you're zooming in from. I hope everybody having an amazing week. I'm hearing from people, there's parts of the country that got walloped. Like when I say walloped, I mean, I was told like an hour or two ago, they got really, really, really hit. So I wonder if anyone's dialing in from any of those areas. What's up, Dwayne from Richmond, Erica from Cumming. We got Tammy from Virginia. What's up, Amy from Florida? Actually, we just got back from Florida 3 days ago. We were in South Beach, so I don't know how close that is to there. How you doing, Amy? We got Cumming, Georgia in the house. That's my neck of the woods. What's up, Rochester, PA? What's up, Tim? What's up, Carl? Hey, Karen, how are you guys? Massachusetts, I don't know if that's one of the places that got hit. I think it was Texas area, if I remember. We got Delaware in the house. What's going on, Gordon? Good to see you. All right, we're going to get started here in just a couple minutes. Let everybody dial in and settle in. We got somebody else from Cumming. We got Clayton from Iowa, Hawkeye. We got St. Louis in the house, St. Mary's in the house. Yeah, like I said, I've been hearing that there's states that just got absolutely walloped with snow. I will tell you from where I sit here tonight in Atlanta, it is cold. It is cold. Like winter has arrived. We were having like a easy peasy winter here in Georgia. And I'm always like I wear this outside all the time, like a t-shirt or a thin shirt. And this morning I woke up, went outside to go work out, and man, it was freezing. Germantown, Maryland in the house. What's up, New Orleans in the house? What's up, Laura from Long Island? Pittsburgh in the house. What's up, Janine? Northeast Pennsylvania. Used to go do quite a lot of skiing up in the Pennsylvania area. What's up, Bradley? So I don't think anyone's dialing in from one of the wallop states from the storm. We got, what's up, Richard? Southern California. Hey, Gordon, how are you, buddy? Part of New Jersey. What's up, Raisa? Juanita from Texas. Juanita, I thought you guys got snowed in. Wasn't Texas one of the places that got absolutely hit and pummeled and all that kind of stuff? From what I understand, it was. And another storm on the way. Wow. Is that to Texas? Thank you for that, Gordon. I'm glad you liked the videos. Thank you. What's up, John from New York? What's up, Brad? I can't remember last time Brad was not one of these. The loyal guy. How you doing, Brad? Good to see you. You were like 20-30 minutes from me. I'm in Vinings tonight. Ohio, place I grew up in Akron, Ohio. and then went to school in Miami, Ohio, in Oxford, and then lived in Cincinnati, Ohio. So very familiar. What's up, San Diego Todd? How are you? What's up, John Mosley? All right. Got a lot of people checking in. So guys, I'm glad you guys are here. I'm going to get started here in just a minute or so. Got some good stuff for you guys tonight. I'm going to talk about some trigger points. I'm going to give you an opportunity to even ask me some questions, some things I could pivot off of. So we'll have a good time tonight. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about kind of why it's important to get, outside input, why it's important to get outside questions even, how to gauge your business, how to grow your business in accordance with what your goals are and all that. So appreciate that very much for everybody dialing in and for everybody being here. All right, well, let's go ahead and get rolling. Again, my name is Peter Vexel, with Partner-Driven Real Estate Investing. And for some of you guys that aren't here tonight, you guys know us. You guys are already partners, you're embedded, you're in a family. But for those of you that don't know who I am or what really Partner-Driven is all about, it's very simple. Partner-Driven, we are first and foremost, we're a real estate investment company. Like I'm a 22-year veteran of this business, been at it for 22 plus years now. And if anybody on the street ever asks me, hey, what do you do for a living? Or anybody wants to know what my occupation is, first and foremost, I am a real estate investor. And for many years, that's exactly who I was and what I did. I invested in real estate, did it successfully to a tune of thousands of real estate transactions. Did other things, did land acquisitions, land developments, did apartment buildings, built a rental portfolio to over 400 units, did all kinds of techniques and strategies, you name it. I did it, wholesaling, retailing, fix and flips, had realtors that I work with, actually literally built out whole real estate teams, did long-term holds, creative financing, short-term plays, I did it all, but I always did it from a perspective of how a typical real estate investor does it. Kind of like, hey, I have to find a deal, kind of like see deal, do deal. And I did that, like I said, successfully for many, many years, and took that model all the way to the point where I had multiple offices across the country. The very first satellite, I'm here in Georgia now, but the very first satellite office we set up was in Jacksonville, Florida. We absolutely dominated that market when we had like physical presence in there. And then we set up, literally ended up setting up offices all the way across the United States, all the way from Florida, all the way to California. And again, doing very well, had a lot of things centralized back here in Atlanta. Like all our marketing would be like done from here. All the marketing literally calls would come back in here. Then we'd like book appointments for our local offices, set appointments for them. So it was a very centralized office, but as slowly as I wanted to do more and more deals, I started expanding more and more, setting up what we call boots on the ground, or actually had literally satellite offices everywhere. And then like anything else or anyone else that achieves a measure of success, I wanted to take it to the next level. Okay, like how do I get beyond just like, I had an office in Jacksonville, but I couldn't do a deal in Tampa, Florida, because I didn't have local presence there. And for those of you that know anything about real estate, know that the only way to really successfully do it, not just kind of get lucky here and there, but to really successfully do real estate, you really have to have a local presence, okay? And so, I was always kind of tinkering with how do I get beyond my geography, beyond my locations? How do I get access to more deals? And, years ago now, I kind of came up with this idea, and it was an idea that was called You Find It, I Fund It. And basically what it was is we gave the ability for everyday people across the United States who needed help in finding deals, not really finding deals, and doing deals. And that's where I would step in, right? So if you were somebody in South Florida and you found a great real estate deal and you're like, well, I don't really know how to, how do I get the money to buy it? All this, they would just call us and we would partner with them, kind of help them out through the process. But mostly I was providing the money. I was the money backer in these deals. And then once the deal got done, we sell it, we split the profits down the middle, 50-50. And that model took off. I mean, it took off to the point that like even Hollywood got a hold of us and they're like, this is amazing. Like you guys are doing some pretty cool stuff, right? We were doing deals with just everyday people. And, Hollywood got a hold of us. They're like, hey, no, we want to do, a reality TV show. Okay. And we actually initially started filming a reality TV show. And that went nowhere because I can tell you one thing: there's nothing reality about reality show, and it was just became a headache, a pain for everybody. So we cut the lids on that. But the model was a great model. But like with anything else, when you just kind of jump in and start doing things and figuring out as you go, you literally figure it out as you go. And we started finding kinks in the armor, right? We started finding cracks in the pavement. Like, for instance, when we were doing deals with everyday people, guess what? We were doing deals with everyday people. So a lot of times they thought it was a deal and it really wasn't a deal. We realized that some of these people we were doing deals with had no experience in real estate whatsoever. It's like an aunt or an uncle would die and they would will them the house and they knew nothing about it. And I, I share with people now, but we made a lot of mistakes up front. I mean, we ourselves weren't even set up infrastructurally to do that, much less. So now we 100% weren't infrastructurally set up to do that. You take that coupled with a person that has no idea what the heck they're doing, and it's a recipe for not like the best results. But again, we were having some success. The idea itself was taken off, but we started figuring out we got a club. We loved the idea, but we had to figure out a way to kind of really clamp this thing down. We had to figure out a way to how to glue the pieces together. And so here we are now, a number of years later, and we are a full-fledged partner real estate investment company. We have literally dialed that model in. And as a matter of fact, we've dialed into such a level, I no longer have offices anywhere. We'll dialed in to such a level. Like back then, I used to have a call center, like literally a call center, because we would get up to 1,000 sellers a day calling us. So I had a whole call center of callers sitting in the phone talking to sellers. I don't have that call center anymore. Like, we have literally shut down our engine of finding our own deals. Why? Because now that engine, although I say shut down, it has literally been the efforts have been reapplied in other areas. So like, for instance, one of my top negotiators is now helping my partners do deals. My closer, Mary, now instead of helping me close my personal deals, helps my partners close deals. Julie, who was so instrumental in everything that was related to our real estate investment company, now works with our partners, teaching our partners what it means to be a successful real estate investor. So now looking at where we are today, the best way I could describe what it is we do, it's very simple. We literally, at Partner Driven, we enable everyday people to do real estate deals by providing to them what are considered to be the key pillars to success when it comes to real estate investing. Number one, we coach and mentor all of our partners, okay? And that's a critical pillar. Without coaching and mentoring, this is a different way of saying it. Without knowing what you're doing in real estate, you're kind of dead in the water. This is not a business where you want to experiment and try to figure out as you go. Ask me how I know that, okay? The second pillar that we provide for our partners is we help them with lead gen, okay? That's a huge pillar. For instance, one of the things we're rolling out right now for our partners is literally a motivated seller lead machine, okay? And that's just one of the things we do for our partners. So we help with lead gen. Number three, we provide our partners technology. In today's marketplace, if you don't have technology, you're dead. Before, technology would give you an advantage, right? Like a couple years ago, or maybe even a year ago, wow, if you had access to technology, you had an advantage in the marketplace. No longer. Right now, if you don't have access to technology, you're going to be left in the dust. You got to have access to information, current information, fast, at your fingertips, from your home because of the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. So we provide our partners the absolute world-class technology. We provide our partners, the next pillar is back office, right? As an investor, and I tell people all the time this, nobody thinks that you need a back office on real estate. Nobody, that is the last thing people think about, is the process of files, closings, things falling through, chasing down paperwork, chasing down issues. You need a back office, and a lot more than I just said. So So that's the third thing. That's the next thing we provide for our partners is we provide them our back office to literally be their back office. Then once we find the right deals, if they need money, I provide 100% of the capital. That's a big one. On top of that, I assume all the risk. That's almost bigger sometimes, right? Because guess what? After doing this for 22 years, after doing thousands of real estate deals, things still happen. I mean, there's deals to this day still don't work out. And guess what? When they don't work out, I assume all the liability, which means my partners have zero liability and all the upside. And then we just simply put them in the market, sell them, split the profits down the middle. And that's what the partner-driven model is all about. Again, we provide what are considered to be the absolute key pillars of success to everyday people all the way across the United States. We help them do deals. We sell them. We split the profits down the middle, 50-50. So some of you guys are partners here tonight. I'm so glad you guys are here. Very exciting times for us. We're actually in the middle of doing more deals with our partners than we've ever done since the model has started. We got more contracts in place. We got more contracts going out in place. I mean, any way you spin it, we are hitting on all the cylinders. We got some big goals for our partners. By the end of this year, which really it's only going to be a second full year that we run with this model. You know, we've been doing investing for 22 years, but we really dialed this thing in the last couple of years, right? So by the end of this calendar year, the goal is to be doing one closing a day with a different partner. And that's phenomenal. I mean, I could just tell you, I don't know, there is no one else in the country that does that. So we have some big goals for our partners. So if you're here as a partner tonight, it's kind of like another way for me to re-emphasize what you have access to, recharge you, get you recommitted, get you to the next level, teach you some stuff, because I am going to be teaching you guys some stuff tonight. And again, if you're a partner, awesome. Some of you guys are not our partners. So you may have been checking us out. You maybe talked to a team member a couple times already here. And tonight is kind of like your decision-making night. Like tonight is like, I'm in or I'm out. Okay, so for those of you that are in and you want all the benefits, all those pillars in terms of doing real estate deals, we do have some very special key team members on standby tonight. So for those of you that are ready to jump in and get started tonight, all you have to do is just simply call 770-746-8585. So I'm sure that's in your chat. So if you're ready to get started tonight, 770-746-8585. And the third category of people that are here tonight is you literally are at the very initial stages of getting started with us. Like a friend may have told you, hey, check this guy out. You may have done some initial research on us, maybe on social media or something like that. But after tonight or during tonight, you're like, you know what, this sounds pretty cool. I like it. I like what these guys are all about. So I'm ready to begin my journey in terms of figuring out this whole model. So if you find yourself in that last category, the best place to start your journey with Partner Driven is just simply at our website. And that's simply www.partnerdriven.com. So if you're a partner, awesome. If you're ready to become a partner, super duper. And if you're just ready to check us out more and more, that's an opportunity also. So one of the things I'm going to do tonight, I don't think we've ever done this. We might have done this one time on a call like this, and we've been doing these calls forever and ever. But I'm actually going to give you a chance to kind of ask me a couple questions tonight. Again, we never do it this, but tonight I'm going to take a couple questions. So if you have a question for me, tonight, towards the end, I'll answer kind of a couple random questions. You know, there's gonna be no rhyme or reason, but I did promise to do that. So there's a chat in front of all you guys. And so all you have to do is just, you know, throw a question in there. And I will kind of get to those questions towards the end of what we're doing here. But when Kristen in the morning usually sends me a text every Tuesday morning, and she's like, what's the topic? Okay, what's the topic for tonight? And tonight, she asked me, what's the topic? I said, you know, I want to find out what I, Peter, can do to help you individually grow your business, right? And I asked that for a very specific reason, because beyond just answering a couple of your guys' questions, that is a key component overall of how to be successful in any business, specifically in real estate. That is to ask that question. See, one of the biggest mistakes I see real estate investors do is do things based upon a hunch, based upon a feeling, based upon like a webinar they listened to, you know what I mean? Something they may have overheard someone say. And the other thing that happens when you don't ask the key questions, they don't know how to evaluate what's going on with their business. And one of the biggest mistakes I see real estate investors make in this business is literally that, the inability to figure out what is going on in their business. I know that because that's what happened to me in this business. Like many years when I got started, I finally figured out what was going on when I lost everything I had. That was like I hit a wall at that point, right? Like, okay, I'm done. I'm out. Like, I'm out of money. I'm out of reputation. I'm out of credibility. I'm out of everything I have. So boom. Had I known what questions to ask ahead of time, I would have prevented myself basically making myself homeless when I got started in this business. Okay. So it was too late. At the point that I finally was like, wow, this is not working out, it was too late. Had I asked myself that same thing like 3 or 4 months ago, I would have prevented a lot of hardship for myself. Then, now I didn't get out of the business. You know, for those of you that know my story, you know, I lost it all. I kind of slowly dug myself out. But another interesting started happening. As I started digging myself out, I once again was not asking myself the right questions. And so it took me 3 years from the time I lost everything to the point where I kind of got stable. By the way, back then stable was zero. Like to me, that was like, wow, I got to zero. Okay. Like stability was not making 5, 10, 20 grand a month. For me, 3 years after I got started, I got to like zero. And I was like, whew, you know, it's like coming up from, you know, deep water and you hit the air and you're like, oh, I'm just glad I'm survived. Okay. And that's kind of how it was for me. But what happened is, I'll give you a couple examples of how important it is to ask the right questions in this business, especially as it relates to your own business, okay? So when I got started back then, climbing my way out, and for those of you that follow me, you hear me talk about this 2 a day thing. And so a very successful, you know, I got around a couple successful guys back then. They kind of steered me in the right direction. They said, here's what you got to do. And one of the things they told me that I needed to do was very simple. They said, just get to the point where you could start seeing 2 sellers a day. Just 2 sellers a day. Not even seeing, you just get to the point where 2 people a day would agree to potentially, not even definitely, but potentially sell you your house, right? So I'm like, okay, I can do that. So what I did back then is I would carve out usually an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, and I would just make random calls. And believe me, back then it was like random calls. Like today, you know, you guys have the Deal Driven app. You know, there's 30,000 other sources that you can get potential sellers from or owners from. But back then, like in the Stone Ages, that stuff didn't exist, right? So literally back then, 22 some years ago, I would basically call out of the white pages. Like literally, that was my calls. I was like randomly calling people who at least I knew had a phone number. And I would just ask them, hey, I shot in the dark. You got a property you want to sell? Because I got a property that I need to buy. I mean, that is as sophisticated as I got back then. And so back then, my goal was very simple, to get 2 people a day to tell me that they would be willing to sell their properties. But because again, I didn't understand how to, like, what parameters to look at, what questions I needed to ask myself. As I started doing that strategy, month 1, no results. Month 2, no results. Month 3, no results. Month 4, Month 5, you know, month 6, started going, right? But I could tell you, for the first 3 or 4 months of doing that strategy, I literally quit this business every day. Like I did. I literally, for the first several months of doing that strategy, I quit this business every single day. And every single day, the only thing that kept me from literally walking out of this business, I just didn't have anything else to find. Like if back then I would have found something else, I would have been like, see ya. I wouldn't qualify to do anything. You know, I was a basically a flunky in school, a flunky in college, no job experience, had some other business experience, but didn't really bring much to the table. So it's like, I was committed, you know how people are committed. Like I was saying I was committed, but I was quitting every single night. I was out. I was like, this sucks. This ain't never going to happen, because I was not asking myself the right questions. Back then, all I was doing is I was looking at the results, right? And because I didn't really understand how to correctly ask the right questions, or more importantly, how to judge this business, I was losing. I was losing. First 6 months, I lost everything. Like I was lost. Then for the next 3 to 4 months, 5 months, I wasn't really seeing results. So you could really say first 8, 9 months, it was a disaster. And the question I was asking myself was very simple. Well, Pete, what do you got going on that's like so great? Okay. What do you have going on that's working? See, when I lost everything I had, I actually had some cash when I got started, and I dumped it all into deals, like 6 deals to be exact. And again, even back then, I was asking myself the wrong questions. I was looking at my Excel spreadsheets. Have you ever done a deal like based upon Excel spreadsheet? I've never done a deal based upon a spreadsheet where all the numbers matched up at the very end, right? It's impossible. So I was asking, even when I was doing deals, I was asking stupid questions. That's why when I lost every deal back then, because I was asking the wrong questions, I didn't know how to correctly steer through those deals. And then when I was at ground zero trying to dig myself out, I was getting my 2 a day. I was getting my 2 a day. I was getting my 2 a day. And I would ask myself, I'm like, well, I'm getting 2 a day that my back then, my mentor back then, Barton, was telling me. I said, I really don't have any deals going. I got some crumbs that may or may not happen. I got some possibilities. And so all my questions back then were based upon money. I'm not making enough. I'm not making anything. I don't have enough deals going on. The right question back then was very simple. What do you got in your pipeline? What do you got in my pipeline? See, I was building this massive pipeline of people that wanted to sell, but they just weren't selling it at the price I needed to buy. And if the only thing, if I knew back then what I knew now, I was building a gold mine. But because I didn't understand that it's all about, the question was, how big's the pipeline? I was looking in front of me like, how many deals you got going on? See, wrong questions, right? In reality, I was setting myself up to be a killer in this business. But I didn't know and didn't understand the right question to ask. And so one of the things that I, to this day, struggle with in this business is watching people every day get in this business, get out of this business, do this business, not do this business, for all the wrong reasons, because they don't quite understand how to gauge this business, what questions to ask in this business, and how to determine if you're truly on track in this business or off track. So for instance, let me tell you, one of the things that now, if you're a partner, and I'm just trying to pull this up in our Facebook, if you're a partner, one of my key things that I'm going to start doing is we're going to have 30-day challenges. And most of these 30-day challenges are, some of them will, but a lot of them will have nothing to do with real estate. Nothing to do with real estate. Like we just started our first challenge 2 days ago. Let me go to our Facebook. We started our first challenge 2 days ago, all right? And see, I don't even know how to use Facebook correctly. And we're calling it hashtag 30 days to success pillars, creating time. Okay. And so I'm teaching our partners like all the shortcuts I have learned in this business to become successful, not only really in real estate, but to really on multiple fronts of my life. And I learned that it's not a lot of times how good I am at real estate. It's how good I am at doing certain habits. So like we started this challenge a day or two ago. We have over 100 partners participating in it. And it's kind of a trick that I've learned how to literally create time out of thin air. And so here's the question, right? Again, it's all about the right questions to know how well on track are you. What kind of habits do you have? Many years ago, someone very successful told me that your success in real estate will not necessarily, like when we started, somebody put in chat, hey, Pete, I forgot what it was. And it was a nice compliment. They said, I love your negotiation training that you do for our partners. And I appreciate that. But that's good. That's good that I'm a pretty good negotiator. I'm an awful estimator at rehab. I'm a good negotiator. And, it's a lot better to be a good negotiator and a good rehabber and all that kind of stuff. But I can tell you the ultimate question that I learned to ask myself years ago now is not how good am I at negotiating or how bad am I at rehabbing. Those things in the end matter in the beginning, but will never matter to get you to those next levels. The questions you got to learn to ask yourself ultimately is what kind of habits are you keeping? What are you doing on a daily basis? Because I could tell you, I know I've gone over, my own career and over just my real estate things and some things I've been involved with. I've learned that it's important to get around successful people, right? And the one thing I realized, I don't care if I'm around a successful guy that owns 500 dump trucks, or if I'm around an attorney who owns a law firm with 600 attorneys, or I'm around a successful real estate investor. What I've learned, they don't have the same skill sets because you need different skill sets to do different things. But what I have learned is they tend to have the same habits. So ultimately, I realized in order for me to really drive my real estate business to the levels I wanted to, the questions I needed to be asking myself at a point in time is, how are my habits looking like? How am I treating this pillar of success? And how am I treating this pillar of success? And am I doing this? And what I realized, and this next statement is going to make zero sense because it doesn't connect. As I started getting better at my habits, my real estate business started taking off. So, of course, I developed skill sets in real estate. That goes without saying. I didn't do this blindly. But I literally realized somewhere along the line that if I spend time developing the right habit, the right attitude, the right way of spending each hour of my day, if I develop those habits, the rest almost kind of goes by itself. Not totally, but kind of by itself, right? So it's another key question people need to be asking themselves, okay? How are your habits? How are your habits? I see so many people get so frustrated in life, beyond in real estate business, frustrated to no end. And a lot of them have all the reasons in the world, right? And then I'll say something like this. I'll say let me look at your Facebook page, right? You look at their Facebook page, right? And this is somebody that's maybe putting time in the business, doing things in the business, but frustrated to no end, can't wait to quit this business, has zero confidence left. And I'll say, let me see your Facebook page. And, you scroll down their Facebook page and you see, oh, okay, last night you were at Mickey D's and wow, you were obviously drunk because you had, you were standing on top of the bar on your head. Oh, and the night before, you must have had a really good time at that pool party. I think that's you floating in the water upside down, right? And I'm like, okay, so here's the question you got to ask yourself. We live in a web-based world, social media world, right? What do all of us do when we do business with someone? One of the very first things we do is we're like, okay, let me go check this person out. Let me go check this guy out, right? So now here it is, you're talking to a seller, a motivated seller possibly. But that seller, you got to realize this is the biggest thing they've ever sold. How many people have bigger assets than their houses? Not their cars, not their furniture. That's their biggest asset. So they're worried, and they're not professional sellers also by any means, right? So you're talking to the kind of person that's like, they're a little scared. Most people don't realize sellers a lot of times are just scared because they're doing something they don't, to us, we do it for a living. To them, it's their first transaction. It's a lot of money and all this. And so what do? They're going to do the exact same thing anybody else is going to do who's not sure about something in today's environment. They're going to go on the internet and they're going to go look at your, let's say, social media, right? And now they're faced with the decision. Okay, I'm about ready to sell my biggest thing I ever owned. I'm somewhat motivated, so I got to make sure this thing goes well. Okay, so I could sell it to this yo-yo, or let me Google someone else. So the question you're asking yourself is here. Nothing's working here. Why, Pete? I'm putting all this time in. I'm making all these calls. I'm trying to get better. I'm doing this. I'm frustrated no end. I'm but the answer is right here. Okay? The answer is right here. It's how you look to the world. Who would trust somebody who looks like that to the world, right? So the questions we ask ourselves, they're very important. For instance, let me go back to where I was a couple minutes ago. Your monetary success in real estate has zero to do, your initial monetary success in real estate has zero to do with your ultimate success in real estate. Why? Because for 3 years, I made zero. If it was all about money, engaging how much money I made, I should have been out of this business. I was the guy, if it was all about making money, all about doing deal. Now, 3 years I know is extreme, but I did extreme things. I'm like, I'm going to dig the biggest hole that's ever been dug in real estate. And then let's see what happens, right? I mean, that literally was what I did. So, I could have done it much quicker had I not spent the first 6 months like digging myself in and basically going homeless. But again, if your question at the beginning about real estate or about anything you do in life is based upon the success you're having, you're asking the wrong question, right? What was the right question back then? The monster follow-up, because I was doing 2 a day. I was literally getting a hold of 2 people that were kind of throwing their hands up and saying, well, yeah, if you give me enough money, I'll sell, right? Most of them, again, obviously were duds, no deal. But I was building a relationship. I somehow figured out I better have a follow-up system, which back then was like, I still do it, by the way, sticky notes, right? That's how I do everything to this day. So had I asked the right question back then of how big my follow-up was, I would have become at least mentally, I would have saved myself a lot of heartache. I would have saved myself a lot of stress. Back then, had I known the importance of the right habits and asking, okay, is what I'm doing on a daily day the habits of successful people? Because back then they weren't. I wasn't structuring things the right way. I wasn't planning things the right way. I was severely out of shape. I was severely stressed. I mean, you just notch it down. Everything that could go wrong in terms of habits, I was doing them, except for one thing. I was making my calls. I was doing it under stress, under terrible attitude, out of zero belief in this business, out of constantly quitting, out of the only thing that literally kept me from quitting was that no one else would hire me anywhere else. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm in it for another day because I couldn't go anywhere else, right? See, you got to learn in this business, or really in anything, even if it's not real estate, maybe it's something else for you. Your success will become based upon you understanding the right questions to ask, you understanding how to interpret their answers the right way. Your success will become based upon right habits as opposed to wrong habits. Okay? And in the end, that's I think what our mission here at Partner Driven is to give you the right answers. Okay? We want to give you the right answers just because it's not only me, it's myself, it's the team behind me, it's the partners that have risen along the way. We feel very strongly, like over the top strongly, that we got the right answers as it comes to real estate investing. the right answers and techniques, the right answer on strategies, the right answer whether it's a deal or no deal, the right answer of do you go forward, did you go backwards, the right answer, like, are you really screwing it up or are you really on track? And guess what? If you're part of our community, you many times, and if you have interacted with me directly, I will many times tell people you're off track. Had I had somebody in those first 6 months of my business enough guts to tell me that I was off track, I would have saved myself 3 years of time, $500,000 of money, homelessness, basically, total reputation destruction. But I had no one to give me the right answers, or nobody that wanted to give me the right answers. Everybody like then looked at me as a paycheck, so they gave me the answers I wanted to hear, right? Had I learned the right habits along the way, not a decade into this business, well over a decade into this business, when I started finally figure out it's all about how you spend your time, and it's all about the right daily habits and rituals. It's all about this and that, okay? So ultimately, we try to structure our environment here in such a way that we know the right questions you should be asking. We know the right answers you should be getting as it relates to this business. And again, what I was just saying in terms of me, for those of you that are like interacting with me directly on let's say on our private Facebook community, which is like taking off like skyrocket, you'll hear me, man. You'll see. I'll be like, no, not smart, not what we want to do. Or you're on one of our daily training calls and you're talking to one of our frontline trainers, and you're like, well, I've never done this business before, but there's a $10 million home for sale around the corner, and let's go ahead and do that. Disaster. Like, stop, shoot yourself, do whatever you got to do, just stay away from it, right? So, but those are the things that, like, that's critical. So we're all about the right questions. We're all about the right answers. We're also about the right habits. I have a mission here, partner driven. And like I said, we're just really rolling it out. I really want to teach everything I've learned in terms of being successful. And I've learned that for me to have become successful, or to the level I've gotten to, have actually, this is going to sound really super duper weird, have less to do with real estate skills, but more to do with the right habits. Like, literally, like I cannot remember this. I have never in my life, check this out, like thousands of deals, well over 2 decades in this business. I have never, ever, as far as I remember, ever done a deal all the way from A to Z by myself. Can you believe that? Never. I have never, ever in my life done a deal from A to Z by myself. I've always had someone help me in some part. I always had someone fill in the hole. And like, think about this. How can you do over 3,500 deals and never take it from A to Z? You really don't need to if you kind of know enough quality things about this business. But I've also built certain habits in my life that I totally do not compromise on. And it's because of those habits that I've been able to do that. Never take a deal from A to Z by myself. I've been able to build out teams the right way. I've been able to build out infrastructure the right way. I've been able to put myself in the right circles. I will be able to attract the right people to me, been able to attract the right partners into my world, you see what I mean? Those are habits. Those have nothing to do with real estate. Like, zero to do with real estate. Team building is something that you need to do with real estate, but zero to do with real estate, right? Nothing. Infrastructure. Like, when you get into real estate, nobody gets into it because, like, I have a degree in I don't even know if you can get a degree in that. But, like, nobody gets into real estate because, like, I know how to build out infrastructure, so I'm going to use my talents in real estate. No. You're probably going to go use your talents in building out roads and infrastructure and stuff like that, right? Or you're going to work for a huge corporation and a department and help them build up. So that's not a kind of, but because I've learned those skills, by the way, very important, I didn't have any of those skills. Like, had zero of those skills. The only skill set I kind of had that I know has helped me to this day is I was willing to work. Like when it comes to work, I always had that skill set. From the day I was like, can remember, I was always a hustler. I was always working. It never scared me and never worried me. So that is, by the way, one of the pillars of success, the ability to just go kill it, go kick some ass as if it relates to and I'm talking about sheer brute force, time and effort. Ultimately, that's not how you scale. That's not how you get to the next level. But in the beginning, that is like, I don't know anyone who got to here who started here, unless it was handed to them, right? And when you're here at the very bottom, you ain't building a team, because like nobody wants to be on a team of zero. Like, hey, can I get on a team that's never done anything before, right? That's us. Those are the entrepreneurs, right? So that is the one skill set that I do say I've always had, and I did bring into this business, and I worked my rear end off for many, many years in this business before I started getting to the next level. So you got to know what questions to ask. You got to know the right habits to have. You got to know how to spend your daily time. And you got to know how to evaluate where you are. And if you got those things in place, right? Spend your time, right habits, questions, how to evaluate. I think those 4 pillars are the major pillars to get you from where you are to where you want to be. I feel very strongly that that is what the partner-driven model is built on. Based upon experience, and really nothing more other than that, we got the answers. We got the answers to help you do your first deal, second deal, 10th deal, 50th, 100th. We've done thousands. We can get you to very high levels. We know what habits you got to have. Okay? I'm spearheading that myself because I know the importance in that. We're buying you time. We're buying you time because we're shortcutting your road to success. I'm providing the capital, we're providing the coaching, we're generating leads, we're providing technology. Those are things that you would have to have. It's like, those are not things you just like, I guess I'll get into real estate and I'll just like not work. No, you got to have that stuff. So we're shortcutting the process for you. We're eliminating the downside. And as I said about an hour ago, there is still downside, guys. 22 years in this business, there's deals we still lose money on. And I don't hide behind that. Like, I showcase it, okay? There's still deals we make mistakes on. You cannot bulletproof yourself in real estate, especially in the beginning. That's when you're the most liable to make the biggest mistakes. But after 22 years and thousands of deals, there's closings. I'm still stroking checks. And I'm not saying like for $50 or $500 or 5,000. These are tens and tens of thousands of dollars of mistakes. Through the partner-driven model, we eliminate all that. Okay, through the partner-driven model, I assume all the liability. That's big, because the profits will keep you in it, or at least the lack of losing money will keep you in it. You lose money, a lot of people can get or knocked right out. So know the questions, know how to evaluate, get the habits, and do it over and over and over again. So that's all I had for you tonight, guys. I did say I'd answer a question or two, but I don't even know. See, now I'm in this chat and I see tons of stuff and I don't even know how to operate the stuff. So let's do this, guys. A couple things. I'm going to ask you guys a key question today, and I need your help in this, because the underlying theme here for the last 40 or so minutes has been, you got to know what kind of questions to ask. And so I'm going to ask you to do, and hopefully you guys got some value out of this. Whether you do this with us or you don't do it with us, hopefully some principles I told you today, you're like, that makes sense. I could buy into that. So I'm going to ask you to do me a huge favor, because one of the things that we here at Partner Driven do is we want to grow. I'm not satisfied with where we are. Once we do a deal a day, guess what the next mission is going to be? 2 deals a day with our partners, and then 3 deals a day, and then 10 deals a day in this. And the only way to do that is I want to know what we're doing right, and possibly if there's any things we're doing wrong. So if you got some value out of here tonight and you've had some experience with us here at Partner Driven, like if you're already a partner, this is a no-brainer. Maybe you've been through our process for a while and you're like, wow, this is pretty cool the way they're walking me through the process. On your chat, right? Somehow somebody's going to put in, I can't even find it, but on your chat, there's going to be a review link that's going to be put in. If you don't mind, if you got some value out of tonight, if you're a partner or if you're not a partner, and if you got some value, please go to your chat, wherever that is. I don't know how to pull mine up. And just do a quick review. It takes a couple minutes. It helps us like you won't believe. If we're doing it right, let us know. Let us know what you're enjoying, what we're doing good. We'd love to hear it. If there's some issue you saw, let us know too, because we're going to fix that. So if you got some value tonight, please go to the review link, okay? And just give a quick review. If you got some value out of whether if you're a partner, this should be a no-brainer for you. If you're kind of experiencing this from the side, let us know how the experience has been. We'd love to hear from you, okay? And I'm going to conclude by this. If you're a partner tonight, oh, guys, by the way, if you're a partner tonight, we've been talking about habits. I got the first one we're rolling out. We're in the middle of a 30-day challenge right now, how to create time out of thin air. So if you're a partner tonight and you're like, what is he talking about? You need to immediately go to our private Facebook page, and at the very top post, the very top announcement, I explain how to create time out of thin air. And if you're in, I'm going to take you personally, like me, myself, I'm going to take you on a personal 30-day journey from tonight on how to create time out of thin air. So if you're like, what is he talking about? And you're a partner, and read the top post and announcements, and you're like, yes, I want to do that. Just, it'll tell you what to do, and you and I are off for the next 30 days. And so if you're a partner tonight, let's get to the next level. If you're not a partner tonight, but you're like, yeah, I'm ready to do it. This is the people, this is the organization, I'm all in. Then you need to just simply call 770-746-8585, 746-8585. We have team members on standby. They'll get you started tonight, and as early as tomorrow, we're off and running. Or if you're just beginning your journey with Partner Driven and you listen to me tonight, you're like, yeah, sounds cool. Let me get started. Then you need to simply go to www.partnerdriven.com. That's www.partnerdriven.com. Put your information in there, and then we'll slowly start walking you through the journey of what it means to be an actual partner. So on behalf of myself, everyone here that makes all this stuff happen, all the behind the scenes people, all the frontline people that are helping our partners on a daily basis, I bet they're still at it, support still up and at it, working on deals, making things happen. So on behalf of myself and everybody who's involved, I'm signing off. I'm Peter Vexelman, and we'll be back here at the exact same time, same time, same place, next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. Thanks, guys.